Hi, I'm Claudia from the Asia Research Magazine. Today I'm here at day 2 MRMW conference in Singapore, and I have with me François from eYeka. François, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Claudia, for inviting me.
We have found out that actually I have interviewed you some years ago. I think that was when you first came to Singapore to attend a conference?
Yes, and it was a conference about crowdsourcing, and since then things have evolved very fast in the region. It's very interesting because by the time we had this first conference, it was about explaining the potential of crowdsourcing to change the world of marketing, and since then there have been a lot of applications in the region. And so, for example, yesterday we were able to share with J.O. Lee from Procter & Gamble a real-life example of how on one of their brands they've been able to leverage that technology to actually come up with a much better campaign, very fresh campaign and very impactful campaign for Japan, so in the region.
Can you explain what does eYeka do?
Yes, absolutely. So we are in the world of creative crowdsourcing, which is about leveraging creative crowds. In the case of eYeka, we have about 400,000 creative people in the world, including a lot of people in Asia, which we leverage through competition. So we run a competition and we get dozens of ideas at world scale, and those ideas are actually enabling marketers to come up with more fresh concepts, either for innovation or campaigns that actually bring better campaigns down the road, because they will leverage those ideas as a starting point, as a springboard, working with their agencies, internal teams to come up with something that is much more original than maybe just being in a limited set of people in a room or with the usual suspects in some way. So that's the benefit of crowdsourcing, and that's what we do with our clients.
And what is the relevance of crowdsourcing when it comes to the ideation process?
So what we see is that, and now it's been measured through actually research, is that when you collide a lot of creative minds on a topic, you find things that you would not have seen in another way. For example, one of those points is about diversity. If you invite people who are actually not an expert in the field, maybe they'll have a fresh eye, a bit like Richard Branson, right? Richard Branson is not an expert of airlines initially, but he flew, he was flying very often across the Atlantic, and he realized the experience was not what he liked. And he said, oh, why don't I create an airline with a completely different mindset? And actually, it was very successful. So that's a bit of a same change of perspective that actually people can really disrupt a category with a new point of view. And that's what creative ideation with crowds provides, that you have suddenly people who are completely marginal, but actually they can provide a very refreshing point of view, and that's how you can reinvent categories in the face of disruption, in the face of digitalization, in the face of the transformation of consumer preferences today, which is happening very, very fast.
And your highlights of the conference so far?
So I was pretty amazed to see how brands and market research companies in the region are leveraging the technology. Market research is a world that is changing very rapidly right now, and I think Asia is at the forefront in terms of bringing those technology to actual action and impact in a very fast-paced way, whereas sometimes in other parts of the world things might take time to be adopted. Here people are really eager to get started, and actually we can already see great results. So that's very encouraging, and so I love the energy in this conference.
Thank you, François, for joining me.
Thank you, Claudia. Very nice to see you again.